This isn't a replica. It's a resurrection. A ghost from 1,000 years ago, brought back to life not from a single blueprint, but from scattered clues left in ancient sagas and windswept burial mounds. This is the DRAKEN Harald Herfager, the largest Viking ship built in modern times. Weighing in at over 80 tons and stretching 114 feet from its serpentile to its fearsome dragon prow. It has conquered the same brutal North Atlantic waves that its ancestors did a millennium ago. But what does it take to breathe life into a legend? How do you reverse engineer the rocket science of the Viking Age, a technology so advanced it let a civilization dominate the known world? The answer isn't in any one feature, but in a symphony of ancient secrets, from a hull that flexes with the waves to a sail that catches the wind with terrifying efficiency. We're going inside the DRAKEN to deconstruct this marvel of engineering and reveal how modern shipbuilders, armed with little more than sagas and rediscovered techniques, built a ship that could once again stare down an iceberg and win. The story of the DRAKEN doesn't begin in the 9th century, but in the 21st, with a Norwegian entrepreneur named Sigurd As. As, a native of Hausund, the homeland of Viking kings, was fascinated by the legends of the so-called great ships mentioned in the Norse sagas. These were vessels far larger and more formidable than any archaeological find had yet uncovered. While plenty of smaller replicas dot the fjords of Norway, Oz envisioned something much grander. He didn't just want a museum piece. He wanted a fully seaworthy vessel, capable of reliving the most daring Viking voyage of all, the treacherous transatlantic crossing to North America. The mission was twofold: create a vessel for experimental archaeological research, and more importantly, inspire people to look beyond the horizon and embrace the Viking spirit of exploration. But this was no simple task. The Vikings left behind almost no written records of their shipbuilding methods. So, starting in March 2010, Oz gathered a team of Norway's top traditional boat builders, historians, craftsmen, and artists. They wouldn't be copying a single ship, like the famous Gokstad vessel. Instead, they would synthesize everything they knew from archaeological finds, saga descriptions, and the unbroken chain of Norwegian boat-building tradition to resurrect a legend. The secret to a Viking ship's legendary seaworthiness starts with its skin. The DRAKEN is clinker-built, a hallmark of Viking design where the oak hull planks overlap each other like scales on a dragon. This technique creates a hull that is both incredibly strong and remarkably flexible. On a ship the size 35 meters long, that flexibility is absolutely essential to surviving the immense stresses of the open ocean. The construction process itself was a journey back in time. In a radical departure from modern shipbuilding, the team built the DRAKEN from the outside in. First, they laid the massive oak keel. Then, plank by plank, they painstakingly shaped and attached the hull. Each plank was sealed with tar and hemp before being fastened with over 10,000 iron nails, every single one hammered by hand. Only after the shell of the hull was complete did the builders move inside, custom fitting the internal ribs to match the hull's flowing organic shape. This method preserves the natural strength and flex of the wood, allowing the ship to ride with the waves rather than fighting against them. It was this unique combination of a shallow draft and a flexible hull that made the original longship so effective, able to cross oceans and then navigate far up shallow rivers. During early sea trials, the ship's flexibility was almost unnerving. The captain noted that the flex in the midsection was disturbing before extra reinforcements were added to find the perfect balance between movement and stability. The final result is a living, breathing wooden vessel that moves with the sea, a testament to an ancient understanding of naval engineering. While the hull provides resilience, the heart of the DRAKEN's power lies in its colossal mast and sail. The 79-foot mast is made of Douglas fir, chosen for its strength and straightness. It supports a single massive square sail measuring 260 square meters. While historically, a king's ship might have boasted a sail of expensive silk, and others were woven from wool. The DRAKEN's builders chose a modern, durable sailcloth for their epic voyages. Mastering this rig is an immense physical challenge, and it's why the DRAKEN requires a crew of around 34 sailors, mix of professionals and volunteers from around the world. There are no modern winches here. Everything is done with muscle, rope, and a deep understanding of the wind. Under full sail, this ancient design is shockingly fast, capable of reaching speeds up to 14 knots, a blistering pace for a vessel of its size. But what happens when the wind dies? That's when the ship reveals its other source of power, the crew itself. The DRAKEN has 25 pairs of oars. With 2 people on each oar, it can be rowed by 50 people, transforming the sailing vessel into a mobile fortress. While rowing only achieves a speed of a few knots, it gave the Vikings a critical tactical advantage, allowing them to attack and retreat regardless of wind conditions. This dual propulsion system made the longship one of the most versatile and feared vessels of its time. A great ship in the Viking Age was more than just a tool for transport or war. It was a work of art and a powerful symbol. The DRAKEN Harald Haarfagr is no different. Its name itself honors Harald Fairhair, the king who first unified Norway. Archaeological finds show that Viking ships were often beautifully decorated, and the DRAKEN follows this tradition with intricate carvings inspired by historical patterns. The most iconic feature is, of course, the dragon's head. This fearsome prow wasn't just for show. In Norse culture, the dragon head was believed to protect the ship and its crew from sea monsters and bad luck on their voyages. However, it was a symbol reserved for the open sea. Following ancient custom, the dragon head is removable and would be taken down when entering a friendly port, so as not to frighten the local spirits or inhabitants. The dragon's head, along with its matching tail, is only mounted just before the ship departs its home port, a ceremony that marks the true beginning of a voyage. These details transform the DRAKEN from a simple reconstruction into a vessel with a soul, embodying the mythology and warrior spirit of its ancestors. Building the ship was one thing, proving it was another. In late April 2016, the DRAKEN set out on its ultimate test, to follow in the wake of Leif Erikson and cross the North Atlantic. The crew of 32 sailors, chosen from thousands of applicants, would face the same dangers as their predecessors: punishing storms, relentless cold, and the ever-present threat of icebergs. The journey was an epic saga in itself. Leaving from Norway, they made stops in the Shetland and Faroe Islands, Iceland, and Greenland. The voyage tested every aspect of the ship's construction and every ounce of the crew's endurance. They battled fierce storms, navigating past icebergs in the Davis Strait, 1,000 miles north of where the Titanic sank. There were setbacks. Rough weather forced them to make unplanned stops for repairs to the rigging and sail. Yet, on June 1st, 2016, the Dragon's prow touched the shores of Newfoundland, Canada. They had done it. They had relived one of history's most legendary sea voyages, proving that the tales of the sagas were not just stories, but feats of incredible seamanship and engineering. For their achievement, the crew and builders were honored with the Leif Erikson Exploration History Award, a fitting tribute to their modern-day Viking spirit. So what is it actually like to live on this resurrected beast? It's an experience of relentless exposure. The ship is entirely open to the elements. There are no cabins below deck for the crew. Sailors sleep in shifts in a large tent set up in the middle of the ship, a space so tight that earplugs are considered essential equipment. They endure everything the ocean throws at them, from freezing spray to the searing sun. The work is constant and physically demanding. 34 people from all over the world, men and women, naval architects and lifelong woodworkers, have to work together as a single unit to manage the massive sail and navigate the ship. Food is simple but hearty, cooked in a small galley and designed to provide the energy needed for hard labor. Yet, Despite the hardships, the crew returns again and again. They speak of the unique freedom of being on the open ocean, with only the horizon in sight, and the profound connection to history they feel. It's an adventure that bridges 1,000 years, connecting them directly to the challenges and triumphs of their Viking ancestors. The DRAKEN Harald Herfiger is far more than the world's largest modern Viking ship. It's a floating laboratory of experimental archaeology, a tribute to a shipbuilding tradition passed down through generations, and a powerful symbol of human curiosity. From its flexible, clinker-built hull to its hand-forged iron nails and fearsome dragon head, every component is a rediscovered secret of Viking engineering. It has proven that the incredible journeys described in the Norse sagas were not myth, but history, made possible by a vessel. It was a perfect fusion of art and engineering. The DRAKEN is a reminder that the Viking spirit, the drive to look beyond the horizon, to explore, and to take on impossible challenges, is still very much alive. If you were captivated by the story of this incredible ship, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the marvels of historical engineering. And let us know in the comments what other legendary vessels you'd like to see us explore next.